I had to refresh the YouTube.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think we'll just get started.
Yeah,
Hi,
for sure.
hi everyone. Welcome to Lanarkshire Family History's April talk. Our speaker tonight is Jim Anderson, who's going to tell us about the money box. It's about the items that you might have in your house, but you're not even aware that they're actually there. And what was in the money box? Let's find out in a bit. My co-host tonight is Christine Woodcock. How's things, Christine?
Good. We're back in lockdown as of today. We've been yo-yoing back and forth since September.
Oh, really?
And you know, I was folding up the washing today, Claire, and I was thinking it used to be a cheeky wee treat to have a jammy day, and now every day's a jammy day.
I think we've all got a bit like that over the last year, actually.
It's a cheeky wee treat to be dressed now.
Yeah, I think it's got a bit like that. I find when I'm doing the washing, actually, the majority of it's lounge about the house there. Oh golly! So couple of announcements. So there's quite a few events actually happening in April. I think you're going to cover a bit about SAFs, Christine.
I am. Do you want me to do that now?
Yeah, do that now, yeah.
Okay, so the SAFs conference, they got canceled last year. I had a group ready to go, but I was thrilled to see that they're doing it virtually this year. And that really opens it up to a whole lot more people. So that is happening next Saturday, the 17th, all day. And so that's, we could probably send out a link, Claire, at the end. Yeah. Usually tomorrow I'll do they'll send out the write-up of this, and then we can have the link to that so people can register and get some learning in for free. For those of you in Scotland, it might be your last day in captivity. For us, we're just starting again, so it'll be good for us to have that to watch.
Yeah. The other one that's taking place this Saturday, the 10th, is the Really Useful Family History Show. I think it was the end of last year, actually, this one took place. And it was a kind of full day of talks, and then you were able to view the recordings for 3 or 4 days afterwards. So it's £10 to sign in for the day. They have workshops, they have an exhibition hall where a lot of family history societies are there. You can go in and chat, purchase items. They also have expert sessions. And just looking through the talks, I mean, there's quite a few. You know, you've got researching family in British India, people missing from home, a bit about canals and railway navies, volunteer wartime medics.
Wow.
Researching people who were adopted, paupers, Irish wills, usual DNA. In fact, the one that I found interesting was deaths at sea. I've got somebody that died at sea, and I want to see if I can find out more from that. You've got things about divorce, women in the Caribbean. It goes on and it goes on and it goes on, and it's probably too much to actually watch on the one day. So it's actually quite useful that they do make it available for quite a few days. Mm-hmm. And they do also have a platform where you can go in and actually chat to other people and interact with groups, etc. as well. So yeah, I thought it was really worth, the money that you spend on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So I think you've got another one to tell us about.
I've got my own. I run a virtual conference. I've been doing it for about 4 years now, and it's most of the attendees are from North America or Australia. But this one coming up on Saturday is we're looking at records and research. So I've got George Mackenzie, who used to be the keeper of the records. He's going to talk about managing archives. Tahisha McCabe is going to talk about methodology. We've got Michelle Leonard is going to do DNA. And then Irene O'Brien is going to talk about crafts and trades records. And Margaret Fox, who's a former archivist at NRS, now at Traquair, is going to talk about tenants, cotters, and servant records. And then just for fun, because we always do something for fun, I have Nick Card, who's an archaeologist, and Nick is going to talk about the things that he's uncovered at the dig at the Ness of Brodgar in mainland Orkney.
Oh, that would be interesting, yeah.
So that's fun.
Oh, that sounds really good. That's really good. Yeah. So put something in the chat for that, Christine.
Sure, and I'll do that for we can do that for all of them, eh?
We'll do that for all of them, yeah, that's great. So I think what we'll do is we'll move on to Jim's chat. How are you tonight, Jim?
Not too bad, thank you. Sitting here just waiting to get started.
Excited to get started.
Well.
And you know, it's actually really funny because when I met with Jim, gosh, I think it was actually before Christmas, wasn't it,
Yes,
Jim?
that's when it all
We
started.
actually, yeah, we had a chat before Christmas and he showed me pictures of this money box, and I was quite amazed because we actually have one of those money boxes in our family, and it came from my great grandfather. I must admit it's not in as good condition as the one that you've got. But
obviously better looked after.
Ours is a bit battered and it's been passed down the generations. But I mean, ours was the same. You know, it included lots of family documents, wills, birth certificates, and through the generations. So yeah, I just wonder if there's any more out there. If any, you know, any of the actual people who are watching tonight, maybe you've seen one, or maybe you have a similar box out there.
Yeah, so, as I say, it was a surprise when I found mine.
What a treat. What a treat.
I know. And it's just amazing that the stories and how it unfolds into a big family story, really. Yeah.
Is that true?
Yep, that's fine. So if you're all right, Jim, we'll move on with your talk.
Right.
See you at the end.
Yep, and any questions, you can put them in the chat box. It has been recorded onto YouTube, so you can always watch back if you miss anything as well.
Yeah. As I say, this is all on things that have been passed down from my parents over the years. And as per usual, they just got stored. So I think, as I say at the start of the presentation, I did find them eventually up in the loft, including the surprises, the things I didn't know I have. But on that point, right, for my first time, let's see if we can get this to work. Start that. There. Share that. And hopefully.
That's brilliant, Jim.
Hello, and welcome to my presentation on how I was able to add some information to my family tree. It all started when I was searching the house for some stuff that I knew I had somewhere, but couldn't remember where I'd put it. Then one day, while I was in the loft, I came across a plastic storage container, and inside I found what I had been searching for. It was the household bill relating to my maternal grandparents, tin can mail that my dad had received as a boy and then had passed on to me, and postcards from an uncle from his time in the Merchant Navy, plus some other things that I didn't know I had. So here it is, one money box in which I found quite a few of the items that I didn't know I had. So there we go. This is the money box with the items that were either in it or in the plastic container beside it. This is a picture of the couple that the household bill actually related to. And here is the house that the bill relates to. I'm not too sure when that old picture was taken or who it is that's standing at the front door. The other picture, that's taken from Google Street View and just shows how the house looks like now. And the map just shows the location of the house near Montpelier Country Park. Now this is what I've been searching for. It's a bill from James Graham of Coatbridge to Archibald Reevy for refurbishment of number 56 Townhead Road, dated the 5th of July 1921. Now I worked out it was a refurbishment as Archibald Reevy was the proprietor on the 1915 valuation roll and my grandparents married in 1918. So here's the top half of the first page. I'll let you have a look. What it's saying is it's two-wheel rugs, 30 square yards of linoleum, Time of men laying same. One walnut bedstead with one spring mattress and one hair mattress. One feather set. One washstand. Restoring and polishing walnut bedroom suite. Also one new mirror and relacquering handles, etc. One bronze kerb. And the bottom half, 2nd of June, it says one oriel poles and one sash curtain rods complete, and time of man fixing same. Then by credit for table, and difference on table, also on rugs. So as you can see, all that came to £44, 16 shillings and 9p. Now onto the second page, dated August the 10th. Again, here's the top half. And here's the list. 5 kitchen chairs, 1 Queen Anne sideboard, 1 mahogany centre table, 1 window table, 1 mahogany overmantel, 1 rocking chair, 1 easy chair special, 1 Axminster carpet, 1 Van Dyke mat, 28.5 yards of stair carpet, 18.5 square yards linoleum for hall and landing, 22 square yards inlaid linoleum for kitchen, 1 oak hall stand. Bottom half continues. 8 Holland blinds, complete with Scotch mountings, top and bottom lace, knot holders and card. Then time of men laying carpets, linoleum and hanging blinds. So that page comes to £101, 12 shillings, 1.5 pence. Now on to page 3 of the bill. Here's the top half. This is a wee bit harder to read, but I think it says, to forming out and reupholstering and covering 9-piece suite in green velvet, also polishing same mahogany colour, restoring and polishing an Ash Library bookcase Jacobean colour, also new glass door. Then the bottom continues, restoring and polishing a small sideboard, a walnut colour, polishing and upholstering 2 bedroom chairs in tapestry, 5 Axminster doormats, 1 8-foot pole, 1 large Axminster rug, 10.5 yards linoleum for dining room, and time of men laying same. So, as you can see, pages 2 and 3 came to £136, 4 shillings and 7 halfpenny. So that gave a grand total of £181, 1 4 halfpenny. And using the conversion rate that I've got on the slide, this is equivalent to roughly £8,145 in today's money. Now onto documents I didn't know that I had. So this is my grandpa Archibald Ravy's birth certificate. He was born April the 1st, 1875 at Well House, which I think is the name of a house near Glenboig. And this is my granny Isabella Weir McKechnie's birth certificate. She was born September the 20th, 1892, Green Street, Bothwell. And then my granny grandpa's marriage certificate, married July the 8th, 1918 in Glasgow. Followed by Archibald Reevy's death certificate. He died 12th of February 1934 at 56 Townhead Road, Coatbridge. Now, fortunately, these dates agree with the names and dates in the family Bible, which I also have, and with the information that I picked up from Scotland's People website. But of course, I've wasted some credits not knowing that I had the original certificates. The family Bible started with the marriage of my great-grandparents in 1871, with the last entry was when my aunt was born in 1924. Then the next thing that I found was Archibald Reevy's will. As you can see, it was handwritten and dated 30th November 1932. It's basically leaving everything to his wife, except the last one, second last paragraph is that if she remarries, he's going to leave the house to his two daughters. But on the 3rd of December, he made a modification to his will where he changed that, and at the end of the day, just left everything unreservedly to his wife. So that really takes us on to the next thing that I knew I had, but again, discovered that once I really looked into what was there, it was more than I knew I had. I'd always known the story that someone from America had been sending my dad's stamps, because my dad was into stamp collecting when he was young. Of course, I'd never asked too many questions when I should have. So, tin can mail. The next two slides will give a very brief explanation of what it is, how it started and how it worked. And it came from the website down at the bottom of the slide. Right, I'm not going to bother reading this out. I'll just sit quietly for a while and hopefully give you long enough to read it. So hopefully that was long enough. Again, here's the second slide. I'll be quiet for another wee while.
Hopefully I've given you long enough to read it. But if you want any more information, just do a search on Tin Can Mail. There are various websites with more details. As I say, I got that information from the website I listed on the previous slides. So this is what Tin Can Mail that was sent to my dad looks like. This is the first of the 2 envelopes that I have that have got lots of stamps on them. These stamps being from Tonga. And as you can see, the back is just also covered in stamps in various languages. And then this is the second of this multi-stamped envelopes. This time the stamps are from Papua. I've been online, but as far as I can see, none of the stamps are particularly valuable. But this time the back of the envelope helped me because it gave me a person's name and a boat. Now, again, stories from childhood. I remember being told that one of my father's uncles had emigrated to America and he worked for a wealthy American family as a chauffeur. And also, as you can see, this was back at the start of World War II, and you can see the envelope has been opened and passed by the censor. Now, I've seen these 2 envelopes before, but the next 7 slides all contain things I haven't seen before. So this letter was sent from Bali and has a Dutch Indies stamp on it. Not much in the back of this, just the stickers showing that they've been, again, opened by the censor. Now, this postcard has a New Caledonia stamp on it. But how it reached my father, I'm not too sure, because the street name's completely wrong. And as I said, with the stamp collection, you can see it says, to whom it may concern, purpose, stamp collecting. But on the back of this one, the names on it started to give me some more clues because I knew that also one of my dad's aunts, Aunt Barbara, had emigrated to America. Now, the schooner Yankee that got mentioned, here's a postcard of it. And another one. I see, this is the one that Warden Kay was sending the stamps from back to my father. Now, whether he was crew, whether he was passenger, unfortunately, don't know the answer to that. But this helped a lot. When I found this letter to my dad from Warden Kay, I can see it had an address at the top of it. And again, these days, using internet, I went on, did some searching and discovered the names of Warden Kay's parents, Alfred G. Kay and Elizabeth G. Kay. And also there was a write-up about them
in the Chester Historical Society website, as you can see on screen, www.historicchesternj.com. So, looking at that website gave me this information about the keys. Again, I shall let you have a look at it. So that was long enough. So having their names, I did some more searching. Not a lot came back, but one of the results was the 1940 American Census entry for Alfred Kay. Now, I had to take a picture of my screen because the census was actually on the Ancestry America website and I couldn't download it. But here's a close-up showing the Kay family highlighted in yellow. So you've got Alfred, the head, Elizabeth, wife, Anita, daughter, Warren, son, and Audrey, daughter. Then further down in pink, I came across Barbara Cunningham, servant, and Ian Hunter Cunningham, who's head, so he must have had his own property. Now in this slide, it's the same entries I highlighted, but this time you can see again Barbara under job description was governess and Hunter was the chauffeur. So this was the first time I found out that they actually both worked for the same family and therefore gave me some information that I was able to update their entries on my family tree. Then, thanks to Claire of Treehouse Genealogy, I've been able to add some more details for Barbara, Hunter, and also their brother David, who'd also emigrated to America. Now, the last things I found, and I remembered seeing them years ago, was from my uncle. This is a picture of him back in the days when he was in the Merchant Navy. Now, he had sent postcards to myself and my young brother from various ports. Whether many had sent, I really don't know, but here is what I have. This one from Valletta in Malta. This one from Port Said. This one from Aden. And this one from Kandy in Sri Lanka. On the back. Now, I know I tried to start stamp collecting briefly when I was a boy. So whether he was sending me these so I could get the stamps, or whether it was just sending us postcards from places that his ship had stopped on its way out to Australia, well, it was a long time ago now. They say I don't know whether there was more than that. But anyway, that was it. So that's got to the end of what I had found. So, as it says, good luck, and just hope that what I've shown you encourages you to go and see what maybe has been passed on down to you, anything else that's lying about, and how these days with the internet, it's amazing what you can find that you might be able to add to your family tree. So, Anyway, as it says, good luck.
Wow. I'd kill just for a piece of that. Jim, you can turn your video on if you want to join us.
And you're on mute as well, that's you.
That's me back. So there you go.
Yeah. Jean is saying, I'd love a box like that. Great talk. Thanks, Jim.
Well, thank you. As I say, basically without the Larkhall folk, Tony and Maureen's encouraging me, or twisting my arm, depends how you want to look at it.
Well, I'm glad they did.
Yes, well, as I say, I could see how it was of interest.
Yeah.
That's why I was quite, well, I nearly said I was quite happy to do it, why I was prepared to do it.
And I think the kind of consensus of opinion was that, you know, nobody'd really heard of tin can mail. So
No,
I think we've all learnt something actually as well.
Oh, well.
I never would have survived having to swim out.
No.
I'm really not the best at deep water, so yeah, it's not a job I would actually have enjoyed doing.
No, we wouldn't have been volunteering for that.
You know, it's fascinating, just that whole thing, though, that somebody on a remote island would think to send stamp, like, phenomenal, really.
And you know, some of those envelopes were like a stamp collector's dream, really, weren't they?
Yeah, as I say, the unfortunate thing is checking up with the prices of them. I'm not sitting on a fortune at all.
Well, you are, just not monetarily.
Well.
That was brilliant.
Great. But you know, actually, I've got to confess that there is still some things in my metal box that I've never ever really. I should take everything out and scan everything and put everything that's in it into acid-free, you know, envelopes so that, you know, they don't get damaged.
Yeah.
Because there's still, a lot of them are folded up into tiny little squares, and yeah, some of them have been scanned, some of them haven't, and that's really bad coming from a genealogist, isn't it?
Well, and I was just thinking, your collection's more like an archivist's nightmare. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jean, she's saying her brother was a great stamp collector. She must share this talk with him. It is available on YouTube, the recording, Jean, so you'll be able to just share the link with him. It'll be there forever. If anybody needs to go back, if you missed the beginning.
I'm there forever?
Yeah. So I know there was a couple of people joined us late. If you did miss the beginning of it, certainly you can jump onto YouTube and watch it on there. Does anybody have any questions for Jim? Is there anything that really astounded you?
All of it.
What did you find most interesting?
Yeah. Do you know, the fascinating piece for me was the whole Philadelphia connection.
As I say, all I knew was that a couple of my grand's siblings had gone to America. As they eventually discovered it was 3. But apart from Hunter, it was Ian Hunter, who had actually met on one of his trips back from America, that was about the sum total of my knowledge. So as I say, thanks to finding that, and then thanks to Claire, I've been able to add more information about their lives out in America, like when they were naturalized, and we both got called up in the Second World War. I don't think they served because of their ages, but you know, they were drafted in the Second World War. So, yeah.
Well, and connected to one of the oldest families. I mean, wow.
Well,
I have people now in Philadelphia I want to send your way. they'd be fascinated with that.
Oh, well.
and do you know what I want to find out? I would love to know what an easy chair special was.
Yeah. Any carpenters, furniture makers out there?
What was an easy chair special? I mean, I imagine it's like, you know, an easy chair that's extra special and extra comfortable, and, you know, probably paid a lot more than a normal easy chair for.
Yeah. I see my cousin's one of the ones watching. I see her name on the screen. Yeah. I don't know if she's got an answer.
She says she's very proud of her big cousin.
Oh, thank you.
This is just the start of it for you, Jim.
Somebody wants to know how old your money box is. Do you know?
No, that's the thing. I'm guessing. Let's see, get the right thing here. Right, that was my grandpa Reevy's stuff that I found in it. But I know my grandpa McKechnie, that's on my mum's side, he, for years, was, now what do they call it? Briquette. You know, I mean, used to get coal merchants and briquette merchants. That's where all the compressed coal.
Yeah.
I know he was a briquette merchant. So whether that was his box,
maybe.
Because he stayed with us in Townhead Road. When I was at the house that was up there, that was my childhood home. And my grandpa McKechnie stayed with us. But no, I've no actually idea who the original owner of the box was.
The one that I've got belonged to my great grandfather, so they married 1890s, I think, and he died in 1935, so it's got to be sometime in round about that time. But the other thing I mentioned to you as well, Jim, was that the only other place that I had seen one was at the Museum of Rural Life in East Kilbride, where they have that cottage. They have a cottage set out, and it's in period. And in the kind of one of the rooms, they have a desk with what has a money box, and it's exactly the same in there. So I don't know if they might be able to tell us, you know, what date it was.
That's true. I might be able to help us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once we can all get escape again, so well, I can travel now because that's in South Lanarkshire.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Jean is asking, she says she was impressed at how much money they spent on their house. What was he working at the time?
Yes, that intrigues me as well, because he was always just down as a bricklayer.
Oh.
Okay, bricklayer, the journeyman, I think it says in some of the descriptions. Yes.
With some bootlegging on the side or something?
Don't know whether say he ran a bunch of folk who bricklayer, but he just kept the title himself, just of bricklayer. Again, unfortunately, all the folk who could maybe help answer the questions are not here. And this is it. When you're younger, you never think of asking these questions. No.
As Margaret saying, she recently found a letter from an Aunt Jean who died in 1933 talking about napery. This is Scottish for bed linen. Perhaps some of the old names can be found in a good Scottish dictionary. Yeah, I've found napery as well, and I will wear a lot of the clothing and tableware and napkins and different things were actually left to the daughter-in-law, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, obviously they treasured a lot of these things, and perhaps they were more expensive, I would take it, maybe back then.
Yeah. It's just as you say, when you sort of convert it into current day money. But there again, they had been single. I mean, he was fairly mature when he married. And I think that was the family house. So he possibly hadn't spent much up to then until he got married.
He's been squirreling his money away, hasn't he? He's squirreled it away and then saved up, for getting married when that came around.
Yeah. Again, unfortunately, can't go back and ask him.
I know, that's it. Okay, that was great. So if nobody's got any other questions.
That was a brilliant talk.
It was.
I'm so glad.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jim.
Brilliant.
Well, thank you.
I think it just goes to show as well that, if anybody has a box or, maybe you don't have it, maybe it's somebody in your family, your aunt, your uncle, your granny, your mum. Do they have anything that you've not actually managed to get your hands on yet? Because it just shows you the type of information that can just be held in one little box. So ask about if you haven't already, and get that information, because as you say, it saves you time and money going and researching it when you find out it's there all along.
Yeah.
really as well.
Well, and you know, the other thing, Claire, is that they don't, even though they have it, they don't necessarily see it as important.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how many times I've said to older relatives, do you have photos? Do you have photos? Do you have, no, nothing. And then they pass away and there's bazillions. And you think, what the hell? Why didn't you hand me these sooner? But
well, the interesting thing actually about my box was my gran had turned round to my grandfather and said, just throw it away. It's just full of old rubbish. And my mum said, no, you know, she says, she was quite young at the time. No, I want it. And my grandfather said, no, she can have it. But I mean, I don't know if it was because it wasn't her family, it was, you know, her husband's family. She felt it was rubbish, but yeah, it just goes to show some people would just discard something like that and not realise, you know, the value in it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So next month, the talk is actually on the 13th of May, and we have Paul Nixon. Paul has been researching British Army soldiers for 40 years. And he's providing a talk on your British Army ancestors in old photographs. So the presentation will look at where to find photographs, how to read the clues in the photographs, and also how to improve your chances of success in finding a photograph of your elusive British Army ancestor.
And if I can just add to that, because I know Paul, he is the military expert for Find My Past.
Yep.
And I've attended a few of his talks, and you will not be disappointed.
He's brilliant. Yeah. I've seen this talk, and that was part of the reason that I wanted to get Paul on board for it. As it's a great talk, and I'm sure that many of you will have army or military photographs within your collection and not know how to identify them. Yes, it's on the 13th of May. Which is a Thursday, and the link will be shared via the e-news, and we'll also put it onto my page, Christine's page, Lanarkshire's page. We'll put it everywhere, and you can come, and we'll share it with you as well, Jim. You can invite your own group along, because it looks like being a really, really interesting talk.
Also, that we've got some pictures of wife's side of her father and her grandfather. So
no, it goes into a lot of detail. Actually, it goes into you know, badges that were on sleeves of uniforms, and how to read cap badges, and yeah, there's all sorts of different clues, and perhaps clues in photographs that you wouldn't particularly notice unless he drew your attention to it. So yeah, have your notepad ready, because there's lots. Luckily, that one will be recorded as well, so you can always watch it back and go through your photographs in detail. So for anyone who's not a member of Lanarkshire Family History Society, why not join? The cost ranges between £10 if you get e-journals, or between £12 and £16 depending if you're UK or overseas. And you get three journals a year. You get access to the centre, which has 6 PCs, and they have a lot of CDs, DVDs, reference libraries. I think they've got something like 1,800 books over there. They have all sorts of books there, including ones relating to census, monumental inscriptions, local history. They also have access to Ancestry, Find My Past, and a whole load of other subscription websites via their PCs. You also receive a regular e-news, which usually comes out once a month, but I know they're trying to do it a couple of times a month at the moment. So you get a lot of money, a lot for your money, Christine, don't you?
Absolutely. And when you're there, you get a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Exactly. And the good thing is you get to meet like-minded people.
Absolutely. That's the best. That's the best. Do you know, Jim, when we started doing this, Claire and I discovered that we've both been members for about 15 years, and it's the first time we've connected. So, you know, it's
it's like we've found a friend during the COVID pandemic. And we've worked on all sorts of things since. So yeah, it just shows you where things go.
Interesting.
Yeah,
like-minded people.
That's it. And there's actually Heather, who's one of the society committee. I met on my first day going to Lanarkshire Family History's meeting, and I said to her, you know, how do I go there? Where is it? Where do I go? And she directed me the right way, and we have been friends ever since. And you know, when things are normal, we meet up for lunches and we meet up for cuppas and we keep in contact. So it's quite nice to actually, you know, meet like-minded people, share tips, share stories about your family history, and get involved.
You did better than me. I had to get a polis to show me where to go.
I don't know how to answer that one, Kirsty.
Yeah, we probably won't.
So I think if nobody's got any other questions, we'll wrap up. It's been really interesting. Thanks again, Jim. And yeah, everybody stay tuned for next month's talk, and we'll post it in the usual manner.
And share with everybody that the recording of this one is on YouTube, because I think it's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Christine. See you
Right,
later.
see ya. Bye.
Bye. Bye.